Hello everybody, John12 back here again with another video. Today I bring you once again another Arrow review. Today I'm reviewing Arrow's Season 3, Episode 3, Corto Maltese, if I'm saying that correctly. I think I am. Let me check real quick. Am I saying that correctly? Yes, I am. Okay, nevertheless, let's get right into this episode review. There was a lot going on. Mostly things that went on in this particular episode, I had zero idea what the heck it was all about. So this was a very Thea episode, of course. The opening is kind of like, whatever, it's just normal Arrow stuff. It's like, oh, there's a mugger, Arrow's catching him, blah, 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 what the fuck. Basically, Oliver is still trying to find out who was the person who murdered Sarah Lance, even though the track is getting cold, as they say, so it was pretty much ended right in the opening. But meanwhile, Oliver and company, specifically Roy, decide to go to Corto Maltese to find Thea and bring her back to Starling City. Meanwhile, Diggle is deciding to go along with them to track down like his wife's, I guess, partner or whatever from Argus to find out what the heck's going on with him, because he's not responding to Argus or what have you. So there's a whole bunch of weird stuff going on with there. The main plot of the story, which was that side plot with Diggle and that guy and that whole scenario, I didn't really understand. I don't know if it's because the people who were working on that specific episode didn't really do a good job at explaining what the whole scenario and conflict was, or maybe I was just not paying attention. But anyways, in the comment section below, let me know what the whole plot of that whole scenario was all about. I didn't really understand it, and it really didn't make any sense to me. But nevertheless, they end up going to Corto Maltese. Oliver finds out where Thea's living at, and he and Roy approach her to try and convince her to come back to Starling City, because, obviously Oliver can't live without Thea, and Thea really has mixed feelings about it because she doesn't really want to come back to Starling City, which was a topic that I actually like. Over the ending of season 2, my personal thought was that, oh well, she's just gonna go train with Merlin, and then she's gonna come back, and she's gonna be like a villain or a sub-villain, and then they're gonna fucking make up and kiss, and she'll become part of the Team Arrow, whatever. But I think it was good the way they approached it. She was like, obviously, they were the ones who approached her, and she had zero interest in coming back with Oliver. So I like that overall plot twist than the one I speculated back in the season 2 finale days. But nevertheless, you have this really nice action sequence between Team Arrow and the hired guns, if you will. Once again, didn't really understand it, but it looked cool. I sound like an idiot saying that, but it's true. And also really cool notes, spoilers if you've yet to see the episode. I hate saying spoilers. It's like, if you're watching a review, watch the episode, bitch. Nevertheless, spoilers if you've yet to see the episode, but yes, we finally get Ted Grant on the show. Yes, we finally get to see Ted Grant and actually see him talk and whatnot. Laura Lance is obviously still on the case of finding out who killed Sarah. Meanwhile, she's trying to help other people or whatnot. Because obviously the overall plot twist with her, the subplot with her, is that over the course of this season, we're trying to see her become Black Canary, the new Black Canary. And as much as I'm okay with it, I just felt like this episode didn't really do justice to that idea. Like, her first interaction with Ted Grant wasn't as cool or badass as I was expecting. Her first night out as Black Canary, if you will, or the cheaper version of Black Canary, if you will, didn't really go that well, which I was expecting. I wish they could have went a little bit more brutal with it, but then again, it is CW. I doubt they would go too brutal with woman violence on the fucking show, but nevertheless, it was cool for what it was. But the whole Laura Lance and Ted Grant thing wasn't really that good. I didn't really like it. I mean, the guy that they got for playing Ted Grant, I don't really think is the best choice. I mean, I haven't heard that many other people's thoughts on the character of Ted Grant in this show, or the actor who's playing Ted Grant, but I don't know, like, in the comic books, Wildcat is a badass, he's big, he's buff, he's a badass boxer, he fucking knows how to kick ass, And this show, they do a good job at showing him, showing the ropes to Laura and like obviously being good at boxing and stuff. But he does. When I see him on screen, he just does not look like Ted Grant Wildcat from the comic books. Like in the comic books, he's a big heavyweight boxer, and in the show he looks like a featherweight. No offense, he just looks like that. He just looks like a light heavyweight. He doesn't look as big as he should be. Like if they were ever gonna get a Wildcat to be on the show, they should have got someone who was a legit heavyweight boxer, instead of this guy. But nevertheless, he did good for what he was. I mean, like. The overall gist of the show is that, based off what I've been seeing, I think the creators of Arrow don't really want Ted Grant to be full-on Wildcat, so I doubt we'll be seeing him generally become Wildcat or wear his iconic costume, which I wish he would, at least a mask, But, the overall gist of his character is that he's supposed to teach Laura Lance how to fight, how to box, and all that general gist. So she's gonna be his pupil, he's going to be his teacher and whatnot. So I guess that's kind of interesting how they're going with it. But nevertheless, I was not as excited or as happy seeing Ted Grant as I hoped I would be. Nevertheless, Thea confronts Malcolm Merlyn about the whole situation at moving back to Starling City with Oliver. And when I was watching it, I was hoping that he would have more of an aggressive, like, not too good attitude with the whole idea. I mean, like, he kind of just let her go very easily. Like, I felt like it was unnecessary, Like, you're the big bad of season 1. And in the comic books, you're, like, Oliver's mortal enemy. Like, why are you just letting Thea, your daughter, just go with him? Like, you would think that as a fan, he would be more pissed off, but nevertheless, it was okay for what it was. Thea goes back with Oliver and whatnot. In the side, on subplots wise, side note, Felicity Smoke stuff, pretty awesome. I like that. It was kind of, I think, besides the action sequences, the number one thing I liked about this episode, the Felicity Smoke and Ray Palmer scenes were pretty awesome. I liked them a lot. We get to see a little bit of their friendship develop, and not to mention we get to see Ray Palmer possibly his connection to joining Team Arrow. Once again, there hasn't been any mentions as to Ray Palmer coming on the Team Arrow as the Atom yet, but hopefully we get there soon. I mean, like, we all know that by the end of Flash and Arrow season 1, we'll be getting a TV Just League, so I don't see why not have Ray Palmer put on the costume and have his powers, I mean, like, we all know he's a big tech guy, so why not have, like, some kind of really cool device on his belt or something that makes him shrink and whatnot. I think that's what they should go. But nevertheless, today's episode was good. It was decent. I don't think it was better than prior episodes. Arrow season 3 in comparison to the Flash has really been having a hard time. I don't know why. I mean, like, you would think by the end of season 2 and going into this one we would get some awesome stuff, but I don't know, they're still not amazing me with some epic stuff, I mean, like, this is the season that we're gonna get Ra's al Ghul and a TV version of Just League. Well, how are they not hyping up the shit, That's what pissing me off, but nevertheless, Thea comes home, happy ending. Felicity Smoke leaves Starling City to go visit Barry Allen in Central City, which ties in her crossover with next week's Flash episode. So I'm really looking forward to that. Ray Palmer is in Suspects. Obviously, he's starting to put the connections between Felicity Smoke and the Arrow. So I hope we get to see some development with his character, because I'm kind of sick of the lack of superheroes in this show. That's all I'm trying to say. Nevertheless, it was a pretty good, decent show. It was an episode that isn't my favorite. I'm not going to say that. It's not the best overall over the past couple episodes, but it was pretty decent to say the least. I'm going to give this episode, I'm going to rate it a 7.5 out of 10. It was good, but not the best. But of course, the ending of the episode leads up with Nisa Al Ghul returning to Starling City, of course, for answers in the disappearance of Sarah Lance. and that was a pretty big teaser. And we got some glimpses into next week's episode, so we all know we're going to get some crazy Malcolm Merlin action with Nisa Al Ghul and, of course, Oliver. So I can't wait for that. And possible, I don't know if they're going to do it, but possible fucking Raj Al Ghul action, you know? They gotta, I'm just saying, people, they gotta bring him out eventually. I'm sick of this whole waiting scenario. I'm fucking sitting here, I'm pissed off. I want to see some Raj Al Ghul. That's the sole purpose of me being here. But nevertheless, it was pretty decent. Can't wait till next week's episode. Finally, we got Malcolm Merlin back. I know all the happy fans of Malcolm Merlin's bitch ass are happy now. It's like, yay, Malcolm. It's like, okay, sure, I'll buy into that. Also, not to mention, the flashback sequences were all Thea, so if you have yet to see the episode, spoilers, of course, once again, majority of all the flashback sequences are mostly Thea flashbacks with her training with Malcolm. But overall, decent episode, not the best, and I hope they really amp it up. Next week's episode seems really interesting and seems very action-driven, so I really can't wait. So, nevertheless, I really enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed too. In the comment section below, let me know what you personally think about the entire episode. What did you think about Thea? Did you think that she needed to come back? Do you think Oliver revealing some of his dark past to Thea was a right decision? What do you think about the whole Diggle scenario in this episode? What do you think Nisa Al Ghul is going to do next episode? And of course, what do you think Malcolm Merlin has in the works with Oliver and Thea? But nevertheless, pretty interesting episode. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. And of course, that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be back next week with another episode review of The Flash and Arrow. And I just cannot wait for Raj Al Ghul to come to town. I'm telling you, folks, it's the most anticipated thing I want to see this season. Nevertheless, that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. This has been John 12.